Well, good morning, or good afternoon, I should say. Buenas tardes. This is Sonia Folayan, and I'm reaching out to you today from Chapala, Mexico, where I have been for almost 5 years. I moved here in December of 2021, so I have not reached my 5 year anniversary yet, but it is coming soon. And I have been rather quiet on my YouTube channel for a while. That's been deliberate. I've been very intentional about stepping back from some of the social media pressures. And as a content creator, it is it's sometimes challenging to come up with what I think is relevant content, and sometimes what I think is relevant content is not necessarily what um, my viewers on my channel wish to hear about. I wanted to just take a few moments today to reflect a little bit about my time here. For those of you who are thinking about moving this way, or if you have discovered that the residency requirements have increased so much that it may now be not feasible for you to come here as a resident, I still encourage you to take some extended time here in Mexico. And we're able to help you to facilitate that. Lots of people will ask online, or they'll ask me, how much money does it take to live, or where should I move, or what's it like in Mexico? Is it safe? What's the crime like? There's just so much negative propaganda that we have to fight and sift through. I just want to say that I have been here almost 5 years, and I absolutely love being here. And to me, that says something about how I feel about the safety of the country, about the people of the country, um, about how I'm treated. Because if you know anything about my background, you will know that I do not and will not tolerate being with anyone or in any place where I'm not respected. And I stand 10 toes down on that. This is a beautiful country. I believe it is a superpower in the making. Lots of investment is coming into Mexico. There's lots of new development. Um, and I would say that just off the top of my head, I would say that I'm relieved that I'm not walking into environments where people are angry all the time, where the least thing that you say to someone could trip somebody off. I'm not worried about the person next to me having a gun. I'm not worried about being in a public place and being having a, a mass shooting event. That's not to say that people in Mexico don't have guns, because there are guns here, but there are also gun laws, and people are not walking around strapped and angry all the time. We live in a very uncertain world right now. Things are changing. There are a lot of people that are upset and angry, depressed, disappointed. I mean, there's a global angst right now, and I don't deny that is a global thing. But I would also say that it is not the prevailing attitude here. People do take care of each other. Families are very important. The elderly are important. Children are important. There's no perfect place in the world, but I feel much safer, much calmer here than I do where I was born, which is in the United States. Um, I would encourage those of you that can to consider taking an extended break. Come for, if you're used to vacationing or taking time off for 2 weeks, then I would encourage you to stretch and take 4. If you're accustomed to taking a month off, then I would encourage you to stretch and take maybe 2 months or 3 months. Um, if you've thought about living someplace else for a few months at a time, this is the time to do it. I would say do it. It would be a life enriching experience for you. I think uh, the change in perspective would be healing, settling, and it's always, always, always good to get a different perspective from our daily lives. Um, I would just highly recommend it. Um, I've been thinking a lot about, you know, do I have any regrets? I really have no regrets about coming here. I still maintain my residency in Charlotte, North Carolina. I'm still a Charlotte artist, but I'm expanding, and it's important for me to spread my wings as much as I can with the time that I have left on this planet, and to be more intentional about how I am spending my time. Um, I have no regrets about being here. I wish I would have had the wherewithal to have moved here when I was still taking care of my mother. I would have had a different kind of support. My mother would have thrived under the she would have thrived under the care and the respect that elders get here. Services, I think, would have been more holistic for her. The weather would have been something she would enjoy. I'm not so sure. I was homeschooling um, my youngest daughter for a time when I was taking care of my mother, and then she decided to go to, or they decided to go to a public performing arts high school. So I would not have wanted to upset that experience for her or for them. But on the other hand, I do believe that being in an environment where another language is spoken, where another culture is elevated, where creativity and arts are elevated and part of the accepted culture, I do believe that would have been such a life changing experience for that particular child. And although I had thought about moving abroad when I was raising my oldest daughter too, my children are 15 years apart. Um, I didn't quite have the wherewithal to exactly make that happen. I did take my daughter out of school for a while with my other colleague, Radia Jabber, if anyone of you remember her. We did take our children out of school for a good period of time, and we went to Canada. And while we were writing on our book, we allowed our children to explore Toronto and uh, to create a video diary, which they were able to use for school credit. That was a life changing experience for them. They made relationships that they still have and are impacted by. Um, and so the living out of one's country, I think, is is a great experience. And the earlier we can expose our children to those kind of things, the better. Um, that being said, I think my oldest daughter learned French. My youngest daughter focused more on Spanish, and even now, um, that child is can get around in the language pretty well. So I have no regrets about that. I do wish I could have. I really do wish I could have brought my children up in a different culture for a longer period of time. I just think it just makes us more rounded, well rounded as people, and it gives us a deeper sense of education. My parents were very intentional about making sure that we traveled. We didn't travel out of the country, but we traveled all over the United States. And our parents were very creative in terms of how they took us on trips and exposed us to different things. My parents were travelers, were world. Oh, there's a little spider. Go ahead. They're, oh. Our parents were world travelers. My mother, especially, she would travel when my father didn't want to travel. And those experiences I do know helped to shape me and my feeling about travel and how important it is as an educational tool. And I have insisted upon that for my children. So both of my children have been out of the country, and they started traveling out of the country when they were pretty young. And I would like to continue that with my grandchildren and my great grandchildren. I would say that preparing to move, if you're coming for a longer term stay, it does mean starting to get rid of a lot of the excess stuff that we have in typical Western culture. We tend to hoard and have collections of so many things, but it's easier if you can travel and pack lighter, taking less stuff with you. Uh, the things that we accumulate have emotional attachments. And I would say, looking back on my 5 years, the one major regret that I have is that I still have things in storage that I'm paying for, and I just can no longer justify the expense. It doesn't make sense. There are things I'm not seeing or using. Um, I still have a few more things I need to pare down the next time I go into the United States. I have a 10 by 10 storage unit, which has some important things. Mainly, though, they're my children's pictures and mementos, some things from my mother, and a few things from my mother, and a few things from my father that I curated after they passed away. I have some instruments and drums and things there that I've used professionally and that I have emotional attachments to. But there are things that I still need to go through again and sort through again. My plan really was to have been back in the United States during the Juneteenth holiday, but travel is just so tentative right now. Airline tickets are just skyrocketing right now. This is just not the best time for me to travel. I do need to get back to the States, though. I have an older sister in Massachusetts who I feel needs some attention, and I would like to spend some time with her. I have not seen my grandchildren in, oh gosh, it's been a couple of years. I've not seen my daughters in person for a couple of years. Um, I did see my younger sister. Um, well, it's been almost a couple of years for her too. So it's time that I get back and make some connections, and to get rid of that storage unit. But I also am. I've also been very intentional about curating space for my family and friends to come. And so now I think it's also time for people to come and visit me. Not that I haven't had visitors. I've had a number of visitors actually from Charlotte and North Carolina and around the country who have been just so generous in supporting me and what I'm doing here. I'm very, very grateful to those who have actually taken the time to book space in our B&B, who are booking space now in our new overflow guest house. I'm very gratified by that. But I'm hoping that more family will step up to the plate and more close friends. Now, I also know that just from the experience of a lot of my friends, a lot of times our families uh, don't come. So I am prepared for that reality too, but I do hold the door open for them. So I look back on these uh, these years. It was 5 years ago that I came to Chapala. I came in June of 2021. Uh, I left in August, end of August of 2021. But before I left Chapala, I had made the decision to move here before the end of that year. So I was here from June to August. I went back to Charlotte, reorganized, did a lot of purging, and I officially moved here on December 10th of 2021. I can't say that I had a plan because I didn't. I just knew that once I got here, this just felt so much like home. Um, it just felt so much like home. Uh, and my reception here was so welcome. The arts are so prevalent. The culture is so beautiful. The weather is just perfect. Um, and I had a lot of reminiscing. I felt a lot like the times I spent in my best friend's kitchen as a middle schooler. My best friend, Gloria Cuevas, uh, wa- is Mexican. Her two parents welcomed me into their home. We spent a lot of time together. I spent a lot of time in her house. She spent a lot of time in my house. And I had a lot of time in her mother's kitchen. And being here felt a lot like being in her mom's kitchen. Now, Gloria has come to visit me here in Chapala. I'm really excited about that. Um, and both of our mothers have now passed away. But being here reminded me of that special chapter, that middle school chapter when your peers and your friends are so important in terms of how you identify and how you see family and what you learn about yourselves. So I have some really beautiful memories about that. Um, but I'm looking forward to what's coming next. Um, getting on here and posting a little bit more often. I have some amazing interviews that I have planned, and I'm just feeling really grateful today. I wanted to also let you know a couple things. I may have mentioned this before. We do have an opening in our co-living guest house right now for a woman who wants to stay for 3 to 6 months. We've got an opening, so she can come and enjoy this beautiful Mirador anytime that she wants. It's a private suite with a separate bath. We do have a common living area and a chef's kitchen, but also that person would have a kitchen that they would share with one other person on the second floor. I live on the first floor of this building with another woman. We all have our own private spaces, so we can interact as much as we want or not. So I wanted to let you know we have that. Reach out to me if you are interested in that. And also, I have been doing sovereign conversation sessions. Uh, we've had some amazing conversations about being sovereign women, uh, setting boundaries, living lives on our own terms as people who are out here in the world. And our conversations have included people from all over. If you're interested in being a part of our sovereign conversations, uh, inbox me or reach out to me in some way. I do put out information about the sovereign sessions in my newsletter. The August newsletter will be going out next week, and I will have information in it about that. And the last thing I would like to say is that our B&B guest house is full right now, but we have an overflow guest house that we are really excited about. And if you're interested in coming down for Day of the Dead celebrations or any of the festivals that are coming up in the fall, or if you want to spend the Christmas holiday with us here, we've got a space for you. We've got a soft landing for you here at our new space, which is called Sojourners Casa de Milagros. It's our House of Miracles. So that's all I have to say for now. It's just been great being on here again with you all. I hope you all have a wonderful, 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 wonderful day and a great rest of the summer. And I look forward to talking to you again soon. Thank you so much. Please like, subscribe, and share if this has been of any value to you. I'm still trying to get to 1,000 subscribers. I haven't been trying really hard over the last few months, but I'm back on it now. So please hit that like and subscribe button, and I look forward to staying in touch with you. All right. Thank you so much for tuning in.